Advanced English Arabic Learning Session 115. A hazing incident ended with one student in the hospital. Get a grip, guys. The childish jape of depositing a stink bomb in her locker. He laughed uproariously at his own jest. You jest, surely? He rubbed shoulders with TV stars at the party. All dressed up and no place to go. A love story with a feisty heroine who's more than a pretty face. The gorillas jousted for supremacy. She recently bowed out of her role as the feisty. The duel is officially tied. Formal rules required that justing competitors be of noble birth. News came that Rome had been blitzed. Many people died in the London Blitz. The oncologist offered her an additional course of chemotherapy. His mercurial temperament. I entered the room and immediately felt a sense of déjà vu. When the car broke down again, it was déjà vu. The rise in housing costs is déjà vu all over again. An instinctual survival response. She realized, she wouldn't have a job if she didn't buck up her ideas. Buck up. Her clumsy attempt to cut the cake was the cause of much mirth. The female is only on heat for a few days. A splinter had pierced the skin. Enough jibber-jabber from me, let's get on with the story. The candle has a repellent effect on insects. Your snobbish behavior towards my friends is so repellent. The treehouse was built on the ground and pulleyed into the branches. Successful managers are headhunted from larger companies. He was headhunted to build an advertising team. The forebody carried electronics, the aft body carried chemical payloads. He came across as being a complete Fruit Loop. We learned how to weave and splice ropes. Scientists have discovered how to splice pieces of DNA. The histology of the major tissues. The current political impasse. All bets are off. When they get lonely, all bets are off. I could do anything. All bets are off. I was tall and lanky. The stamps are packaged to arrive in mint condition. The doll is not in mint condition in its box. I wouldn't dignify him with an answer. I am not going to dignify that with a response. I am not going to dignify that further question with an answer. We found evidence that blew this case out of the water. It blows out of the water all of the stereotypes many people believed. A smaller circle of some 40 ancient megaliths. He led a mutiny against the captain. He jabbered on about football. His books are blockbusters, but they're also thoughtful and human. Our new film will be a real blockbuster. That new movie is a blockbuster. A plaintive cry. Can I help you at all, Chuck? We have a dossier on him. The boys were squabbling over a ball. A sliver of cheese. I'm not Puts who doesn't know the difference between. Every effect has a prior cause, and again we are pushed back into infinite regress. Students had to traipse all over London to attend lectures. There's people traipsing in and out all the time. He was a strong adherent of monetarism. Major rager. A serendipitous encounter. A villainous plot. A villainous smell. He will be forever immortalized in the history books. A picnic hamper. A laundry hamper. What is that old fellow twaddling about? He dismissed the novel as self-indulgent twaddle. I came through all those perils unscathed. She emerged from the wreckage unscathed. The administration was left relatively unscathed by the scandal. She is scraping a living on part-time tutoring. He scraped a living writing short stories. They scraped a living by playing music on the streets. His father ran a haberdashery shop in the city. Haberdashery is woven into the fabric of our business and there are no plans to unstitch it. A waxwork dummy. A tailor's dummy. Tests using stuffed owls and wooden dummies. It is uncommon to see a parliament of owls in the wild. A knucklehead is a dummy or a numbskull. Her daughter was sucking on her pink dummy. How do you run a dry run? A dummy run. Mannequin is a dummy used to display clothes in a store window. Finally, through dumb luck, it worked and I got a network connection. He became an anchor through dumb luck. I didn't have the stomach for another fight. I just can't stomach the sight of blood. I screamed and kicked the furniture and threw a hissy fit. No one throws a better hissy fit than rock stars. He is a little brat throwing a hissy fit. They throw a little hissy fit every once in a while. A presentiment of disaster. Beth had a presentiment that something out of the ordinary was going to happen. She was under sedation and a bit dopey. Did you ever hear such dopey names? She'll be bowing out at the end of the month. He traversed the forest. I often use this route, eventually traversing around the head wall. Ski patrol workers traverse the slope. He would traverse a number of subjects and disciplines. A probe is traversed along the tunnel. These games sets us up for life. Psychedelic drugs. The ops room. I am getting hazed. Rookies were mercilessly hazed. I'm a bit hazy about that. The cogs and springs of a watch. Copywriters have been seen as just a cog in the big advertising machine. The novel depicts the state of adolescence and the rites of passage that lead to adulthood. Leading a delegation to China is a rite of passage for any political leader. Marriage is seen as a rite of passage. One lucky trainee was spared the rite of passage. The merits and demerits of these proposals. He was very handsy. I got shanked with a broken bottle. During his tenure as head coach, the team won the championship twice. His tenure in office will end with the next election. His tenure of office lasted 2 years. She spent most of the day preparing for her husband's homecoming. He was left disabled by a stroke. Her chest pains turned out to be caused by a minor heart attack. He's very much a political has-been. She's just an old has-been. She's a has-been TV star. She had a somewhat dowdy appearance. Clothes which were clean but dowdy. The dispute turned nastier when Steve weighed in. He disliked the plan and weighed in with some heavy criticism. They were outraged that anyone should sully their good name. I think the criticism is quite uncalled for. That remark was quite uncalled for. Genetically engineered plants. She engineered another meeting with him. The men who engineered the tunnel. The general tenor of the debate. He was in the middle of his tenure as Oxford professor. The landscape was a kaleidoscope of changing colors. The resulting patterns have a kaleidoscopic feel. I shepherded them through the door. She carefully shepherded the children across the street. She had to submit the money to a group who shepherded her. A funeral procession. The fully robed civic dignitaries walk in procession. Research reveals that murderers are less likely to be recidivist than other criminals. Magistrates complain that they see a procession of recidivist minor offenders. I don't expect you to darn my socks. The darn things were expensive is euphemism for damn. She has a fair skin tone, red hair, and cyan eyes. Our primary colors are cyan, magenta and yellow. The fresh creamy milk sat in a churn in the kitchen. The cream is ripened before it is churned. The end. Coming next. Session 116.